From Skips being secretly bald,
Whoa!
to Rigby having an unknown phobia,
Rigby's greatest fear.
Amusement park mascot!
this is useless information about Regular Show, starting with the Regular Show pilot in season 1 when we first got to know Mordecai and Rigby. Even though Mordecai comes off like a kid who constantly messes things up, he was actually 23 years old, something established in the very first episode of Regular Show where Mordecai is shown feeling ashamed that he still doesn't have a proper job at that age.
Dude, we're 23 years old. We shouldn't be busting holes in walls. We're gonna get fired for this.
But it wasn't just Mordecai. Despite acting extremely immature, Rigby is also 23 years old, as it was confirmed here. With both of them being 23, the show makes it clear that their friendship goes way back. Flashbacks reveal Mordecai and Rigby together as children, even celebrating Rigby's 6th birthday side by side. However, that childlike look wasn't accidental. Rigby was unusually short, even compared to other raccoons, which made him seem younger than he really was. Rigby only had an adult height of 3 feet and 5 inches, which is an incredibly short height. And this was clearly visible in the episode named Dawn when we saw his younger brother, Dawn, was way taller than him. But that height insecurity only fueled his jealousy toward his brother. He was even shown refusing to hug Dawn, bitter over the fact that Dawn was taller, more successful, and everything he felt he wasn't. However, Rigby wasn't just jealous of his brother. He was actually seen also jealous of Mordecai too, even though he was his only best friend, as he was seen faking Mordecai's college rejection letter just because he got rejected himself.
Sorry, Mordecai.
But his jealousy was way more visible in the episode called Death Punchies when he became furious for not being player 1. But interestingly enough, even though Rigby was like the biggest gamer in the Regular Show universe, he wasn't that good of a gamer, as we saw him constantly losing.
Hey, what are you doing?
Starting. Hurry up and pick your character.
Aw, what? I wanted to be player 1.
Dude, I'm player 1. You're player 2.
Every single time, Mordecai was there to help him win. And, well, speaking of Mordecai, his name was actually taken from a biblical figure from the book of Esther. But aside from taking inspiration from this stoic character, he was still portrayed in a contrasting way, as he was seen mostly being weak and a simp every single time.
How do I look?
Amazing.
And the worst part was that he struggled to express his emotions when he got excited, which is why he constantly fumbled and froze up around girls, especially Margaret.
Oh, hey, Margaret. I was wondering, would you, like to,
And speaking of expression, a lot of people actually don't know this, but Mordecai's voice was actually voiced by the creator J.G. Quintel himself.
I'm J.G. Quintel, and I'm glad that you were along to see where we make Regular Show, and I hope it wasn't lame.
And even if you knew that fact, you probably didn't know that he actually voiced High Five Ghost in some seasons as well. And speaking of Quintel, the idea of portraying Mordecai as a blue jay, Rigby as a raccoon, and Benson as a gumball machine first came from his own drawings. But perhaps the most interesting detail of all is that the show might never have existed if he hadn't been required to make a student film for a school assignment.
In school, you had to make a film every year, so I made this film, and it has Mordecai in it, and it has Benson in it. It really was just the way we acted in school.
That's also why the show features so many moments with music and bands. It was another idea from J.G. Quintel himself, who was a huge music fanatic.
One of my favorite bands, one of my other favorite bands.
Hey, are you the Urge?
Yeah.
For example, take the park manager, Benson, who was actually a drummer in his teens, as shown in the episode 150 Piece Kit. Also, Benson's actual name was Benson Dunwoody, which was only revealed once in the show when he got a job as an English teacher in China.
All right. Well, my name is Benson Dunwoody. You can call me Benson or Mr. Benson.
Generally, we always see the angry version of Benson since he's always under constant pressure from the park boss if anything were to mess up.
But sir, it's not my fault. It's Mordecai and Rigby. It's right here in my report.
Are you my park manager, Bean Teen?
Yes, sir.
Then everything that happens here is your fault.
Well, yes, technically, but...
Say it.
Everything that happens here is my fault.
Don't you two understand? I'm about to lose my job. You may not care about keeping your jobs, but I care about keeping mine. Because if I lose my job, I have nothing. Do you hear me?
And that is why Benson had to be completely aware of everything that was happening on the park. The park was surely an important place, but do you know where it was actually located? Good guess is because its location is actually never revealed, and it's just implied to be somewhere in the US. And somehow the park gets destroyed 30 plus times with zero consequences. In Exit 9B, it turns into a riot, and the next day, totally fine. For example, in the episode Death Punchies, the park almost turned into literal lava.
You're never gonna beat me at punchies.
Whoa.
And the worst came in the episode Benson Be Gone, when the park was destroyed in an explosion just as Benson tried to save his boss from Susan. All of these events looked so abnormal that even Thomas ended up being shocked at it, saying,
Does stuff like this happen all the time? Oh, yeah.
And speaking of Thomas, despite looking kind of like a human, Thomas was actually a goat himself. And interestingly, he was voiced by Roger Craig Smith, the same guy who voiced one of the most prominent cartoon characters ever, Sonic, which is kind of crazy if you ask me, especially someone who grew up with Nintendo. However, what's more interesting is that, unlike in reality, regular show portrays death as a temporary thing, as characters like Rigby are often brought back after dying. For example, Rigby was killed in the episode It's Time and was brought back to life by Mordecai.
Rigby, you're here!
But that's not the only time he was killed and brought back, as in another episode, Skips ended up killing him during arm wrestling and brought him back to life again.
Listen, Rigby, sorry for, killing you back there. It was unprofessional.
But what a lot of people don't know is that Skips himself is immortal because of his deal with a supernatural being called Death.
About time. You've been dodging me for years. Now I get to beat you and take your immortal soul? Deal.
And since death clearly isn't his fate, he simply keeps aging, as the show later confirms that he is 500 years old, a revelation that comes as a complete shock. And not only is he the oldest, he is also the tallest, standing at 6 feet 3 inches, which makes him look like a giant compared to the rest of the crew. Skips was formerly known as Wox, and he was a high school student, as mentioned in the episode Skip's Story.
Welcome to your locker, Wox. You should join us.
And since we're talking about his high school, what many people don't notice is that his headmaster, Bennett, looked exactly like Benson, and even sounded like him.
This is your last chance to graduate, Wox. Do you wish to remain a scoundrel or better yourself? Gareth?
Yes, Headmaster Bennett.
Show Wox to his locker.
Looks like he was Benson's past life. Or another theory is that maybe they're actually related. Anyway, back to Skips. Despite looking like a tall, masculine guy with a full head of hair, he is actually bald, as shown in the episode Bald Spot, when Muscle Man tries to hide his own bald spot and ends up revealing Skip's baldness.
You're not fooling anyone.
What are you talking about?
You comb over.
Oh, how could you tell?
Whoa. It's all right. You get used to it.
Really?
Yeah, in about 400 years.
And speaking of Muscle Man, his actual name is Mitchell Mitch Sorenstein.
That someone is me, Mitch Sorenstein.
But a lot of people say that Muscle Man's voice sucks, but not everyone knows that his voice actor is Sam Marin, one of the closest friends of J.G. Quintel. Surprisingly, it wasn't just Muscle Man, since Sam himself voiced other prominent characters like Benson and even Pops too.
Benson! I was wondering if you would accompany me in a trip to the harpsichord store. I was thinking of buying a new harpsichord. I don't know, Pops. I have a lot to do today, okay? It's not really something that's on my schedule. Oh, but please, I want a new one. Come on, Pops, I'll go with you. Let's do it.
speaking of Pops, who is known as the sweetest man in the park, is not human at all, but rather a half alien. Not only that, he also has a half brother who is completely opposite to him in character, whose name was Anti-Pops. And interestingly, he was adopted son of Mr. Mallard, the park owner, which was later revealed.
Park attendance has been declining for years. With no visitors, I'm basically just paying you boys to babysit Pops at this point.
And they're doing a bang-up job.
And despite being the owner's literal son, Pops didn't have any desire to take control of the park, as he himself used to work as a groundskeeper, just like the others. But here's the twist. Pops' body looks like a lively lollipop because he comes from another planet called Lollyland. And Pops is the only character who didn't have any love interest throughout the whole show. But unlike Pops, who is an alien disguised as a human, Muscle Man turns out to be the only human park worker in regular show, despite his green skin making him look like an alien. And if you thought that was interesting, listen to this. Even though Margaret was a red jay, her father was actually a full human. So technically, she was a mixed breed origin, which was shown when Mordecai went to her family gathering.
Daddy!
Is that my little hug bug? Give me a hug bug.
Daddy!
Oh, look at you so grown up. How am I gonna hug my hug bug if I can't even recognize her?
Speaking of Mordecai, he sometimes had some weird fetishes. For example, in the pilot, he wanted to date a girl named Power, as shown when it came time to name a keyboard.
Oh, this is the answer to all our problems. Have you named her yet?
Actually, I thought you could do the honors.
Really? Mm-hmm. You know, I've always wanted to date a girl named The Power.
But when it came to dating, Mordecai was always unlucky. And despite some people saying CJ was the perfect fit for him, what most people don't know is that CJ was never meant to be his girlfriend, as shown in the episode called New Year's Kiss. When future Rigby came back and warned Rigby to stop Mordecai from kissing a girl from the New Year's Eve party because the match wouldn't be good for Mordecai, which unfortunately turned out to be CJ in the end. Yeah, Rigby completely failed in his mission. But in real life, he didn't fail, as he actually made a huge comeback, going from a school dropout to getting his high school diploma.
I'm not good at a lot of things. I wasn't even good at high school. But that didn't matter. I just wanted to accomplish something.
Interestingly, Rigby's biggest fear was amusement park mascots, which was revealed in the episode called Temp Check when a random guy tried to copy his personality in order to take his job.
Rigby's greatest fear. Well,
Amusement park mascots!
yep, you're Rigby.
But that's not all. His actual name was Rigbone, as shown in multiple episodes like Regular Show the Movie, where it was labeled Rigbone on his bag. And it was confirmed again in the episode called Dawn, when his younger brother, Don, was actually calling him by his name.
I didn't realize accounting could be so fascinating!
I'm just lucky I get to do what I love.
I'm just lucky I get to do what I love.
Rigbone!
And honestly, when I saw this episode, I just thought that was like a nickname for Rigby. I didn't know his actual name was Rigbone, so that was interesting to me. And we all know that Rigby was jealous of Dawn, but what a lot of people didn't know is that Mordecai was also jealous of Rigby. This was shown on their graduation speech day when Mordecai, out of jealousy, refused to help Rigby with his speech.
Hello?
Mordecai, I'm freaking out. I've been writing speeches all day and they're all junk. I'm running out of time. I don't know what to do and all my favorite stuff is gone. Where are you, dude? I really need you over here.
Look, I really can't do this right now. I'm busy.
What? But what do I do?
I don't know. You're so smart now. Why don't you go listen to a sad song and figure it out?
Whoa, what? Dude.
I gotta go.
And in that exact same episode, Mordecai also admitted that he can't swallow the fact that Rigby is doing better than him in life.
I know how messed up this sounds, but it's hard to see you doing so great. I guess I always kind of liked that I was doing better than you before.
That does sound really messed up.
I know. But when I heard you embarrassing yourself out there, I realized how unfair I was being. I think it's awesome that you've worked so hard to get here. You're graduating from high school today, man. You did it.
However, that wasn't the only time Mordecai struggled with his superiority complex. It was clearly visible in the episode Lift With Your Back, when Rigby helped him with the park jobs and his date, yet Mordecai still didn't give him any credit.
I help all the time. Why are you laughing?
Bro, without Mordecai, you'd be totally useless.
What? Come on, Mordecai, tell him how useful I am.
Yeah, I mean, you're fun.
What? No, tell him I'm useful.
Yeah, you're my friend.
Why aren't you saying the word useful?
But even after the moral ups and downs in his character, Mordecai's life completely changed in the final episode, where we finally see him as a mature person married to a Batgirl with some kids. However, it actually wasn't just Mordecai, since Rigby also married Eileen and also had 3 kids, which is impressive, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you compare Rigby to the first episode to the last one, there's a pretty big difference. And now that we're on the topic of characters having kids, it kind of seems like Muscleman and Starla had the most stable relationship, as they made it to the end and had 6 kids who look exactly like them. And speaking of stability, one thing that stayed consistent over the years was Mordecai and Rigby's friendship. Even after decades, they remained exactly the same, and in the final episode, they were 58 years old, celebrating a 25-year park reunion.
Man, I can't believe it's been 25 years.
Yeah, I wish Pops could have been here to see this.
Well, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have this.
And even as dads in their 60s, they still fond of video games, just like in their youth, which was pretty wholesome.
Hey, do you think those old video games are still in the shed?
Yeah, we should check it out for old cart's sake. Whoa!
Apparently, all of this was shown in the final episode, which was why it became the highest rated episode online, scoring an impressive 9.9 out of 10. And not gonna lie, I had a fun one making this one, so if you want to see more videos just like this, just keep watching the regular recap. Subscribe.